Hey guys, welcome back. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy, and I hope you've gotten a lot of time to be able to work on leather work. I know we're all juggling, our kids are probably at home, you may or may not be working from home or whatever, but I hope everybody's dealing with this the best way you can. Hopefully with this video, we can kind of help you with that a little bit. This is going to be a really neat video. Real quick, I did want to say though, we've had a lot of people saying, I hope the move is going good, this and that. Actually, we're not doing anything right now. Right now with this going on, we've decided for the month of April, Texas is obviously shut down like most of the other states in the United States, so we're not actually doing anything. I haven't been down there to look at the building. I haven't done anything. We do have the building. We've actually got to go down there and do some remodeling, and so we were going to do that this month, but now with this going on, we figure, well, we've got enough time. We're going to go ahead and just wait till next month. So we actually won't start doing anything or doing any remodeling or moving any of the equipment down there that we don't need here. We're not going to start doing that until next month. Hopefully in May, we'll start putting out a few videos here and there where we can kind of give you a tour of what the building looks like as of right now and stuff like that. We're hoping to be there full time and have this entire shop moved down there by no later than the end of June. The shop will be one of the last things to go, kind of, but the shop needs to run. We've got stuff to do. We've got orders to do. So the shop will continue to run until we move the last pieces out of here. And I'm hoping to only be down setting up the new shop and stuff for a couple of weeks. So we'll see how that goes. So hopefully next month we'll start putting out some videos and you can kind of check out the shop and see what's going on. But so this video is going to be something that I think is a really neat idea. I didn't come up with this idea. I saw Justin with Whiskey Bent Leather. It's been a couple of years ago probably, but I remember seeing it. I thought, well, that would be a really good video. But since I didn't really come up with it, I don't know that he was ever the first one either, and he said the same thing, but I wanted to just kind of touch base with him because I didn't want him to think I was stealing his idea, but I kind of reached out to him and he said, yeah, absolutely. I said, I'm going to do a video of them because I'm going to make me some, and I thought it'd be a great deal for the YouTube channel. So you can use any kind of scrap leather, anything to make this item. But what we're going to be making is cast iron pot handle covers. I have some of these that are made out of fabric and stuff like that. You can definitely, most of the time I'm just using a towel or something. I cook with a lot of cast iron, and so those handles get sure enough hot, and so you've got to usually have something to grab that handle. And anyway, we've created a pattern pack. This is just something that I brought a pot over here and I kind of figured out the way I wanted to make them. We're offering a companion pack for this, just like any other project video. There's 8 tooling patterns for these and all the cut patterns and everything else. They're not really difficult. You can make these yourself absolutely with no problem. But I do have a pattern pack. But with all this going on and this one in particular being, I just didn't feel right. It's not really my original idea as far as the, the concept or whatever. I'm just going to give it away. So there's a link down in the description. If you want that pattern pack, just click on that, put your email address in. We'll send it right over to you, get access to that, just like any of our other free patterns for the tooling series videos or anything like that. But this pattern pack is going to be free. I think it's only like 2 or 3 pages. It's got basically the cut pattern for the front piece and the back piece. And like I said, it's pretty easy. It's not very difficult. You can make this on your own. But if you want some cool tooling patterns, floral patterns, there's some cool ones in there. I've got one that's just flames. And then there's some one that's got a room for a brand. I thought these would be really cool to have a brand on there. But the neat thing with this pattern that I did, he didn't do this, but I did it in mine, was I went ahead and added this grommet here at the top because I've usually got 2 or 3 pots going, and so, or pans, fry pans or anything with a handle on them. And so I thought I'm going to need more than 1 or 2. And then if they're not on the pot or whatever, what do you do with them? Well, you put a grommet in there and you can hang them on the wall. And I think it's a really cool deal. You can put in a little hook into your wall there by your stove, and you can hang these up. And plus they look really nice, especially if you did some with a brand on there. I think it would look really neat with your family brand on there or something like that. Again, make great gifts, easy to make, not a whole lot going on here. You could buck stitch them, you could hand stitch them. Honestly, you could probably get by with just glue on there if you use a good contact cement. But anyway, simple little project. Let's get to it. We're going to make this right quick and grab that free pattern pack, link down in the description. All right, so here we've got some 5/6 ounce leather, and I was going to cut this out of scrap, but I was running a little bit low on my 5/6 ounce scrap, so you could definitely cut this out of anything from a scrap bin and thin it down, or you may have the right ounce, the right size laying around. But we're going to go ahead and just pull this off of this little section here on this 5/6 ounce side, but that's a piece of 5/6 ounce Herman oak. We're just going to cut that out with a razor blade. And we're cutting out the front panel and the back panel, and so we'll get those going here. All right, here we're just going to prep these with some blue painter's tape, just like we always do whenever we tool. Anything thin, we're just going to use a little bit of that tape, and that'll keep that leather from stretching. And you only need to put this on the front pieces that you're going to tool. There's no reason to put it on the back. All right, and here we're going to get started tooling. We're just going to tool. I'm going to tool 3 different patterns on here. If you do get the pattern pack, like I said, it's free. You can go ahead and grab that. There's a link down in the description. And in that pack, there's 8 different tooling patterns of 8 different floral patterns. There's one in there that's just flames. So there's some cool ones in there. Go ahead and grab that and put it to use. But I'm going to do one with basket stamp and then a couple with floral. But these things are so small, you can have a lot of fun with these. But we'll show a little bit of the tooling here and then just move on. All right, so I didn't take the time to do any of the dye work on film, so we've got videos that show you how to do that two-tone finish in the antiquing job. But here we're just going to pull the blue painter's tape off. We're going to go ahead and edge the very tops of all 6 pieces on these. So just that top edge, because once it's done, we won't be able to really edge and slick that really good. So we're going to go ahead and edge and slick and dye those portions there. And then we'll be ready to start putting them together. And here we do have a video out that shows you how we do our edge slicking. And so if you haven't watched that yet, you might go back and check that out. That's just water and some glycerin saddle soap and a piece of canvas is all I use. All right, so our dye is dried. So now we're just going to line them up, and there's just I just put a little tick marks there so I know where the top edge of those corners are going to be, and then we'll just put a little glue around the outer edge and then around the outer edge of the back piece. One coat's probably plenty. You could do 2 coats, whichever. I usually do 2 light coats on everything, but we'll just line them up. Like I said, I use pencil just to mark that, and then we'll glue those together, and we'll be ready to go. And I like to tap everything together there with a little hammer to just make sure that glue seals good. And then we'll take our Horseshoe brand groover there, and that's what that tool is there. It's just a groover. It's made by Horseshoe brand. You can get one at Weaver. We're going to go ahead and just cut us a stitch groove in there. You don't have to do that, but you'll see me do it most of the time. I'm going to groove whenever I stitch. And then these will be ready to stitch. Now we're here on the class 4, and I've got a number 23 needle in there, so it's a really small needle, but the same size thread I always use, which is 207. Just 207 white nylon thread. And with that size 23 needle, it sews up these 2 pieces of 5/6 really well. And so if you do have a class 4 or a heavier machine like that, you might try a little smaller needle and leave your thread the thickness the same, as long as you're not sewing with like a big 246 or something like that. It should be good. It makes a really pretty stitch. I've actually been sewing most of my belts on this machine lately, just to kind of give my little Singer 3115 a break. But we're just going to sew all the way around there and stay in the groove while we're sewing. Here we're just going to cut our stitches. You can certainly pull them out the back and burn them if you want. I back stitch, so I just cut them off smooth. And then we'll trim off this feather. And if you, like I said in other videos, if you'll get to where you leave just a little bit of a feather like that, your sewing applications will be a lot easier on your machine, because it doesn't try to fall down in that hole in the plate. And so that feather is really handy. And so we'll go ahead and just sand these, edge them, slick them, dye them, just like we normally would on anything else, and these will be pretty well done, minus the grommet. All right, here we're going to put a little bit of dye on here. I'm just using regular Pro Oil dye now that our edges have dried. And as you can see on the back of those, I have oiled the back of these little handle covers, and so that's some of the marking that you're seeing. But we're just putting some dye on the edges to let that dry. Now that's had time to dry, and we're going to go ahead and just freshen them up with one final little rub down of tan coat, and that's going to bring in the shine and make those edges shine really nice and look really good. Be sure and let your edge dye dry before you do that last little step though. And so now we're ready for grommets. And we'll punch these holes here and go ahead and put the grommets in. Again, you don't have to use grommets if you don't have a good grommet setter. That one there is just kind of a cheap grommet setter that I modified for this size grommets, and they seem to work. But I think grommets make a really nice product, and so I would suggest kind of playing with them if you get a chance to try out some grommets. But that's pretty much it. They're done. All right, guys, so that's our pot holder covers, pot handle covers. I have a hard time saying that. I don't know why. It's just kind of a confusing little term, but cast iron pot handle covers. And so, as you saw in the video, it's real short. They're easy to make. Nothing really hard about them. You may not have to use a grommet. If you don't have grommets, don't worry about it. Just you could just punch a hole in there, or no hole at all. Just leave it off if you don't want to hang them up. That is the only purpose for that little grommet. And it shouldn't get hot. The one I have at home has one in it, but I haven't had any trouble with it. I was concerned about that for a minute, thinking it might get hot, but it does not. But leather is a great insulator. It works great as far as for anything hot. This is, like I said in the video, this is 5 to 6 ounce leather. You could go heavier. You could use chap leather. You could use any kind of leather really, as long as it's, I'd say at least a 4 to 5 ounce, something like that. That'd be about as thin as I would go. But these at 5 to 6 ounce, they feel great. Now, if you're frying stuff like in a deep, one of those cast iron deep chicken fryers that's got a handle on it, that may get a little bit too hot for these. You just have to kind of play that by ear and just kind of test it. I don't vouch for the safety of these at all. They're just really cool, and I thought you might want to make some. And with a free pattern, you have no excuse. And with a little bit of extra time right now, definitely don't have an excuse. And with it being made out of scrap leather, you don't have to order a bunch of new leather. Use what you got. That's what we need to be doing right now, is kind of mucking out our shops when we have a little bit of extra time, going through some of that old leather that you have, trying to find something to do with it. I hate to do it, and I still do it sometimes because I have to, because we run out of space. In the new place, maybe we won't, but I tend to run out of space for scrap leather, so occasionally I will go through and I'll have to cull. And usually it's really bad stuff that I'm throwing away. It's not even stuff that I would give to somebody. I mean, if they wanted it, they could have it. But honestly, if they want something to play with, or they want something to practice on or something like that, I'd rather give them something better than a flanky old piece of belly or something. But I do throw away some leather occasionally, and but if you can turn trash into something like this, that's a cool little item. I think these are going to be really popular at Christmas time, and so I think they're a great little item to make for gifts. Father's Day, if you got somebody that's got a chuck wagon or something that does a lot of outdoor cooking, does a lot of cast iron cooking, these are really, really handy. Give these a shot. Get that free pattern. Like I said, there's a link down in the description. Just click that, go to there. It'll when you click that link, you just plug your email address in, and we'll send it right over to you, and you get access to that. I appreciate everybody. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy out there, and trying to find something to accumulate your time if you do have a lot of time. I know if you've got, if you've got kids, I mean, we've got our kids. My son or daughter has been with me every morning in the shop for the most part. My wife and I just kind of divide and conquer right now. She takes one, I take the other. Occasionally in the afternoon, she'll take them both. She's a little bit slower in the afternoon. But we're all making adjustments, and I hope you're dealing with it okay. Try to stay focused. Try to find something to keep your mind occupied. And if you're in leather work, there's always something we can work on. We are going to be working on a new tooling series that should be coming out here pretty quick. And so I'm just trying to get the pattern kind of finalized and stuff like that. And then we'll start shooting that. So I wanted to do one in April, but like I said, I was stuck on that saddle. So that kind of took up a lot of my time. And so I had to get that done, and it was a pretty special project. And so you'll see pictures of that on our Instagram and on our DG Leathercraft Facebook page. If you didn't know we had a DG Leathercraft Facebook page, be sure and check that out. We have the Don Gonzales Saddlery Facebook, and that is our main one. That's the big one, so to speak. That's where we advertise our saddles, products that we make and sell. But we also have DG Leathercraft, which is only devoted to to somebody who wants to learn how to do leather work, stuff like that. And so usually anything that's on our Instagram will also be on the DG Leathercraft Facebook page. So either one of those is a good source. And but if you have any questions, let us know. Be sure and subscribe to the Leathercraft newsletter as well, and look for some videos here in the near future on our move and the remodel and things like that. So appreciate y'all. Have a good one. Stay safe and have fun.